Hello, we are Group 43, and welcome to our presentation on screen addiction. What is screen addiction? Screen addiction is defined as an addiction to using recreational technology, such as smartphones and tablets. This is commonly seen as an addiction to social media or an addiction to video games. Screen addiction can cause detrimental effects on the addict and those around them, depending on the addiction. Now onto some common symptoms. Common symptoms of screen addiction can include withdrawal symptoms from not satisfying the addiction, such as mood swings and fatigue, loss of outside interest from the addiction taking priority in your life, failure to reduce or stop screen activities, depression caused by the loss of outside interests, vision damage from looking at the screen, which could result in the need of glasses, back pain from sitting down for prolonged periods of time, and anxiety caused by an obsession with validation from social media.
Many social media apps implement specific features to make their platform as addictive as possible in order to maximize the amount of users they have at any one given moment. One feature that many companies implement is the like button. The like button allows users to like a post or show their validation of that post. Typically, the button also displays the number of likes that post has received. The like system acts as almost a reward system for an app's users. By receiving a like from another user, they feel a sense of validation. This encourages the user to post higher quality posts more often to receive the most likes they can. This is often to compare themselves to other users. It's treated almost as a competition to get as many likes as possible. However, in the end, it simply just feels good to get likes and to give likes, as stated in an article from Brown University. Another feature that many social media apps implement, or more so a concept that many social media apps take advantage of, is flow. Flow is used to describe how the user can navigate through a social media app. Almost all social media apps implement the infinite scroll feature. This feature displays posts one at a time stacked vertically. In order to view the next post, the user simply scrolls down. As a user scrolls down, more and more posts would be displayed at an infinite rate. This makes it very easy for a user to lose track of time looking at an endless stream of posts. The third feature that many social media apps implement is the For You section, or a For You algorithm. An AI is used to analyze a user's viewed content to determine what type of posts they typically enjoy. This AI then hand selects certain posts to display to that user fitting their criteria. This custom tailoring of posts keeps the user always happy on the app, thus encouraging an addiction. The fourth and final feature we're going to cover today is ergonomics. Ergonomics primarily refers to the app's controls. As mentioned before, typically in social media apps, to view the next post, the user simply scrolls down. According to an article from Brown University, this action of swiping down actually mirrors the action of pulling a slot machine lever, in which a user is actually almost betting on the next post being more enjoyable than the one they are currently on. This type of thought process almost mimics the addictive nature of gambling, and thus has a similar effect on the user through social media. Now for a more biological perspective on the concept of screen addiction. When humans experience a pleasurable or enjoyable event, their brain releases a hormone known as dopamine. This hormone rewards the body for that pleasurable event. Additionally, dopamine also encourages the body to replicate that event. However, the more dopamine one receives, the less of an effect it has in rewarding your body. So you need more and more dopamine each time you want to feel rewarded. This is the very basis for addiction, as addicts often get hooked on that release of dopamine. This cycle can be seen in dangerous addictions such as opioids, but is also present in more tame addictions such as screen addiction. Additionally, the brain responds to and reacts to the sensory stimulation on the screen as if it were actually happening, thus revving up the brain. This activity of the brain makes the user more susceptible to screen addiction, as viewing social media is interpreted as a normal social activity by the body. Furthermore, younger ages are often more susceptible to screen addiction as their brains are still in their developmental phases. The visual and auditory stimulation provided by social media and other technological platforms often draws the attention of younger audiences and is able to hold their attention for long periods of time. This, coupled with the entertainment nature of social media, makes screen addiction more prevalent in younger audiences. Nowadays, recreational technology has an adept ability to provide its users with whatever entertainment that user desires. This often allows users to distract themselves from reality through technology. It can almost be seen as therapeutic. This is best exemplified by parents giving kids their devices to calm them down or to keep them distracted. However, this reliance on technology can lead to screen addiction, as the more you use it, the more dopamine you receive, and thus the more addicted you become. Now for a discussion of both the human and computer perspectives on screen addiction. Social media apps typically utilize features that play upon the release of dopamine in the user's brain. By tailoring posts to the user's interests, making it easy to keep looking at posts through the infinite scroll and swipe feature, and giving users a sense of validation, social media is able to cause that release of dopamine, but also to keep providing ways for the user to continue to release dopamine. It's both fueling and sustaining the dopamine high, thus creating screen addiction in its users. Additionally, the majority of social media users are among the younger of age groups. Thus, a more addictive technical model would have even greater addictive effects among its users, because so many of them are in that younger age group. Now for some statistics regarding screen addiction. 46% of Americans say they cannot live without their phone. In 2018, adults spent an average of 11 hours a day interacting with media. Finally, 45% of surveyed 18 to 22-year-olds actually admitted to social media addiction in 2019. This all supports the notion that screen addiction is truly an epidemic amongst the entire population, not just the younger age groups.
Screen addiction can have various effects on the life of a person. This includes the loss of work and social skills in the addict. Due to their addiction, addicts will often choose to stay inside and browse social media or play video games instead of finishing any work they might have or socializing. Those with symptoms may even find themselves browsing social media when out with friends or not being able to communicate properly due to a lack of social experience. Addiction can also impact the emotional health of a person as well. Studies have shown that too much screen time can be linked to mental conditions such as anxiety or depression. The hyperarousal caused by looking at a screen can lead to difficulties managing emotions and impulses. Furthermore, people who mainly socialize online can feel even lonelier than those who socialize in person. Finally, addicts may find themselves unable to control their impulses, especially when associated with games or screens, leading to spending despite being unable to afford it or being financially unstable. Fortunately, there are many ways to help alleviate symptoms and get rid of an addiction. Dealing with a screen addiction is similar to any other kind. Parental controls can limit the length of time you spend with your phone or computer and could act as a hard cutoff to make sure that you take a break. Oftentimes, the best way to not use your device is simply by keeping it out of sight. Putting your devices behind a barrier or in another room is a great step in treating an addiction. Make sure to have a great support network. Curing an addiction is so much easier with friends and family. They can help encourage you and could even help keep you away from your devices when you need to. Finally, set some time throughout the day to be away from technology. Simply separating yourself and doing something else can really help you ease into being less reliant on screens. In order to help demonstrate the strength of screens, we decided to do a case study on the popular social media app Instagram. We've identified some of the major components which make Instagram so addictive. First, the infinite scroll layout keeps the user scrolling by providing a never-ending stream of content personally tailored to the user. Second, the like button. As mentioned before, the like button provides a way for users to feel validated and validate others. This creates a desire in users to get as many likes as possible, thus fueling an addiction. Third, stories provide a feeling of missing out to the user. If they don't see someone's story in a certain period of time, they lose their chance to ever see it again. This keeps the user monitoring the app in order to not miss out on anything. Finally, the action of swiping down. This gives the user a feeling close to a slot machine. The user will keep swiping to see the next post in hopes of finding a better post that they have not seen before. In order to help make Instagram less addictive, we focused on repurposing as many features as possible in order to address each major component stated before. Additionally, for the more addictive features of the app, such as the like button and stories, we chose to eliminate them as a whole, as they often serve little purpose other than validation. First, we addressed the infinite scroll layout. This was done by limiting the amount of posts a user can see at once. Instead of seeing the typical home page in which the user can scroll through, the home screen will only display a limited grid for the user to browse through as seen on the left. Next, we addressed the action of swiping down. This was solved by changing how the user can see posts. Instead of swiping down, the user will have to look through the grid layout and tap the post they want to see. Doing so will open the post and allow the user to comment or share, as seen on the screen to the right. The user will not be able to swipe between posts, removing the feeling similar to a slot machine, while still allowing the user to browse through multiple posts. Next, we decided to remove the like button completely. The removal of the like button eliminates the constant need to get as many likes as possible, and the mindless action of liking posts. Instead, we have kept the comment section to still allow the user to respond to posts they like, but in a much more meaningful and personal way. Finally, we decided to completely cut out the stories feature, removing that feeling of missing out completely. Instead, we have repurposed the story buttons to be links to a user's profile who has just recently posted, allowing for the user to catch up with others while removing any feeling of missing out, as the posts will be permanent. That concludes our presentation on screen addiction. Thank you for listening, and here are our citations.